SGA once again. Little hesitation. The left hand. What a move by SGA.
Another block.
Chet Holmgren, the long arm of the law.
In the game. These are key minutes without SGA. And another drive. J-Dub cocks it back and throws it down.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you Sunday, April 20th. One man rose from the grave today. A whole city got put in a grave today as the Thunder beat the Memphis Grizzlies 131-80 in Game 1 of the NBA playoffs. A shellacking, if you will. Before we dive into and break down this game, which might just be Justin singing Whoop That Trick for 60 minutes, I'd like to let you know we are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the homies over at Prairie Artisan Ales. We were at Prairie Saturday.
We were.
The fellas drank a lot of beers. The fellas got some cool T-shirts.
Silva and Taylor are matching with said T-shirt.
It's adorable.
Prairie told us, so I don't know the order of operations here on announcements. So we're going here now since I'm talking about Prairie. Next Saturday, Game 4, 2:30 p.m. There's a watch party at Prairie Artisan Ales, hosted by the Uncontested. Justin, what's the beer special that they got going on?
They have, for the entirety of the playoffs, select beers $3 on Thunder playoff game days. All day. Not just during the game, not just while the game's on TV, not just at our watch party. Every game, all day. So if the Thunder are playing, which they are playing like every other day this week, pretty much, go to Prairie, go hang out, watch some basketball, get some $3 beers, and it's like good stuff. It's all good stuff. But like Buzzer Beater, one of our podcast faves, $3. Can't beat it.
3 what, Taylor?
Bucks.
Thank you.
Fourth quarter's in that list, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Fourth quarter
and Buzzer Beater.
And their German Pilsner they just came out with.
Nick's hammering a fourth quarter right now.
There it is.
And like JD and I were talking about on Saturday, that beer is basically hydration.
Yeah,
Don't vet that comment. That's not been legally approved. But it's made with sports drink, so that means it's good for you.
I love it.
It's made with sports drink coloring and flavoring. I mean,
yeah,
a little bit of both.
So 2:30 p.m. Saturday, Game 4. Come out to Prairie Artisan Ales in Oklahoma City. Join us and all the other fellow Thunder fans as we watch the Thunder sweep. Feeling pretty good about that prediction.
Better knock on wood, buddy.
In Game 4, if the Thunder are up 3-0, you come to Prairie with your brooms so we can sweep. Just so we're clear, it's for the sweep. We are not cleaning up Prairie after the place. That's their job. I'm teasing.
That was pretty funny, yeah. Inside joke.
And Prairie also told us, I have Justin, JD, and Taylor as my witnesses here. Quote, you can really do whatever you want.
No. He was told specifically they are allowed to do whatever they want.
We can do whatever the hell we want.
You heard it here first.
Greg's listening to this right now. I'm texting Adam like, abort.
If it's a sweep, we're getting Nick Crane a keg of Buzzer Beater.
Doesn't exist, I asked.
He's got to drink it before he leaves.
I stocked up on
kegs.
Saturday before I came home. I bought a lot of beer. More beer than I've ever bought at one time.
I was prepared to buy 2 kegs.
And
That does not surprise me.
When I checked out, he said,
awesome.
Still not on Nick's level. And I was like, no, absolutely not on Nick's level. And he goes, that guy came in here with a vengeance.
The entire trunk of my SUV was full. Full.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So good.
Well, I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. We got the starting 5 here. JD's here, Justin, Taylor, Nick, and myself. We got a Patreon you should join that because the Discord was insane today. The Meltdown channel didn't even have to get used.
That's right. That's a rarity.
What a day. What
It
a
was so
day. Look
sleepy-
at us.
So sleepy in the Meltdown channel today.
Join
Love
the
it.
Patreon. You can get in the Discord with us. You get like a bunch of exclusive content. It's worth your time. The degenerates in the chat tonight will tell you it's worth our time and your time. Also, we already have people in the chat dropping super chats. If you want to be recognized as a high quality human being, you will drop a super chat tonight with
Wow.
your comments about the game. We will read them in order of how much money you spent on your super chat.
Wow.
No broke boys, please. Silva, I think we have a sounder for this.
Bitch better have my money.
Thank you.
That well, that one was an accident. I meant to press the explosion, but that one is right next to the explosion.
There you go.
The Discord made a JD sounder over the weekend
Yeah, they did.
with an explosion.
Yes, I need to go like screen record that or something. I was having a hard time exporting it to my computer, but good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good
Good
stuff.
stuff. Gentlemen, 131-80. Game 1 of 16 down. 15 more to a ring.
Excuse me, did you say 131-80?
131-80. How's that make you feel, JD?
Makes me feel like I've come full circle, if I'm being honest.
That's right. Some people in the Discord were asking about this today. So for those who may have not heard it, can you enlighten us why today means so much to you?
Yeah, I joined this here podcast over 3 years ago at this point.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And my first solo post game was on that fateful night against the Grizzlies when they lost by 73 points.
Baptism by fire for Mr. Silva.
And 3 short years later, the tables have turned, and the Thunder beat their balls like a drum in the playoffs and win by 51 points, which to me means more than a regular season 70.
I agree.
This should mean something to me, man.
Amazing.
There's so many things to get into this game. Matchups, performances, feelings. I mean, again, we really could just spend the next 40 minutes singing "Whoop That Trick." I tried to get a "Whoop That Trick" chant going in the arena today. Did not go over well.
Didn't catch on? No.
Didn't catch on.
This is Oklahoma.
We got David Skelton saying, "Do teams fear us yet?" What an announcement. You think anyone fears Oklahoma City after today's performance that maybe didn't before?
I think
They
Jaden Jackson
should.
Jr. probably should. I think
Yeah.
Desmond Bain probably should.
Some crazy stats came out of that one, or out of this one. Speaking of that comment, like Desmond Bain with the worst plus minus in NBA playoff history.
That's insane.
Shout out
Thunder-
Desmond Bain.
The Thunder
Minus
won
51.
minus 51. That's the Lou Dort effect.
Someone said that's minus 25.5 per T-Rex arm.
Thunder
Let's-
win. This win was the largest margin of victory for a game 1 in playoff history. I believe the 5th highest overall. Pretty incredible. Just absolute domination from the start.
Absolutely. Hey,
really quick,
Justin, we
my-
have another super chat, by the way.
Oh.
JD, go ahead.
Yes, my favorite stat from this game, which was ongoing and true up until the fourth quarter, was that the Thunder led by more points than the Grizzlies had scored in the entire game. Up until like the beginning of the fourth
That's
quarter.
awesome. That's an incredible stat. That took some math to wrap my head around.
Yes. 'Cause it shouldn't make sense. It
Yeah.
should not make sense.
Yeah.
We also had one of us, two of you guys were there in attendance. One was there covering the game. Nick Crane is back in Dallas now after being there. What were the vibes like, Nick? I'm curious. After the game, what were some of the big things you took away just from being there in person? I want to pick your brain.
From the crowd or the players?
All the above, but I meant the players first and foremost.
I think that as it should be, nobody's pumped or excited in the locker room. I mean, excited probably, but like it is only one game and they treated it as such. Like there was zero, like I wouldn't say zero positivity, but there was no pat on the back from the guys, from Mark, from anybody. It was like game 2. We expect a much better performance from them. So they're thinking about it the right way. Like, I think the fan base is doing some victory laps on Twitter, as maybe it should. But the team is not looking at this any differently. I think they believe they're a championship contender. Before this game and after this game, nothing's changed. So the old saying, act like you've been there before, I think they did.
Nick, there was a lot of talk going into this game about how the Thunder would look with most of the starters not having played for 12 days. The Memphis Grizzlies coming off 2 really high intensity, really mean something games, in that game in Golden State where they lost, and then the game against the Mavericks where they won. And just where these two teams were at coming into this game as far as a competitive basketball sense. I mean, obviously, I think we got an answer to that today. Not only that, but also the talent gap. But pregame, covering the team, being down there, seeing warm-ups, all of that. Anything you took away just from the preparation, the mindset? Did things seem more tense? Did the guys seem loose? Did it seem like there was some rest? Like, what was your takeaway from there?
I don't think any different. I think that organizations probably messaged and trained the guys that, like, as a group, you treat every game with the same level of intensity and preparation. While obviously this game carries more weight than game 32 of the regular season, and game 5 of the Western Conference Finals will carry more weight than today's game did. I think that they truly treat every single game the exact same way, and it would be kind of against their organizational practices to do something different today than they would have the 82 games prior. So had there not been t-shirts on the chairs and extra hoorah in the stands watching the warm-ups, you just think it's another game, which is a good thing.
I will say post-game, I was listening in the car, and both Mark and Dub, two of the first things they both mentioned was just that this Grizzlies team, they know that this isn't them at their best. They expect a much better performance from them game 2. And they both recognize, and the whole team recognized, that the Grizzlies were, like we talked about on Friday night's playoff preview, where we talked about, this Grizzlies team only has 36 hours after fighting for their lives to survive and make it to the playoffs before they turned around and played again. Not necessarily an excuse. We're going to get into the game and the specifics, but I did like that mindset that the team had after the game, to Nick's point.
Absolutely. We're just kind of post-game potting this. We'll get into some bigger themes and whatnot. I want to start here, though. And Justin, I'm coming to you first. Each of you get one word to describe this Thunder performance in game 1. Okay, one word, Thunder performance in game 1. Taylor? One word.
I was going to say, I thought Justin's going first.
I just want Taylor to know.
Taylor, one word. You're telling him one word, not saying
one word.
That's what I thought too. I was like, wait a minute.
No, we're going to Justin.
You pump faked me.
But Justin's going to give a word. JD's going to give a word. And then Taylor's going to give a
thesis.
A thesis
That's
statement. Right. One word, buddy. And then after we all go, we'll kind of talk about our word and why that's our word. This is just Thunder performance, not like feelings on the series or whatever. Just Thunder performance. One word, Justin.
Overwhelming.
JD.
Free.
Nick Crane.
Haymaker.
TP.
Balanced.
I forgot. JD, what'd you say again? 3?
I said free.
3. I'm going to go assault.
That's assault, brother.
Okay. All right.
I was going to say dominant. That was so similar to your guys.
I've already forgot him again. So our 5 collective words are
overwhelming,
overwhelming, assault, balanced, and haymaker.
Yeah.
Where do we start? I think we start with all 5 of those words, maybe with the exception of Silva's free, which is just kind of.
Well, Silva's freed from his.
You said you wanted me to explain it. I'll do some explaining.
Let all of those besides Silva's answer, maybe. could be tied to defense. The defense today was freaking absurd. Like, this was, I'm going to put you in an Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Inside a gas chamber.
Wow.
We're here
But down in the 7th level of hell.
on Easter.
On Easter.
with some chains.
while beating your balls like a drum. Like,
that's a
what this
very
defensive
vivid picture.
That's what this defensive performance was. Like, it was absolutely insane. TP, when you think about all the words we just said and how it we can first tie those into defense. What did you see from the defense today that, I mean, I don't know how many times this season they held the team to 80.
Right.
It wasn't many. What did you see today that allowed them to do that?
So going back to a J-Dub quote, right after he mentioned, the Grizzlies, turning around 36 hours later to play this game, he basically said, we didn't want to give them any life. And that's exactly what this team came out and did on the defensive side of the ball. Jacob, you and I talked about it. All of us really talked about it yesterday at Prairie. We obviously talked about it on the podcast a couple nights ago, but the way the game is officiated in the playoffs in comparison to the regular season, we said if the Thunder are allowed to play a little more free and don't get as many foul calls, like, can you imagine just how suffocating this defense would be? And we saw that. But the interesting thing to me, and this goes for offense as well, for being completely honest, just kind of a bigger theme of the game, but specifically defensively, the tides really turned there in that first quarter when Alex Caruso and Case Wallace came into the game. They mucked up just about everything. There wasn't a single pass that anybody could get off without it being deflected or leading to opportunities in transition. And like I said Friday night on the podcast, like, in this instance, in this matchup against the Grizzlies, I think you really need to match the Grizzlies' ability to be able to get out in transition. The Thunder absolutely did that, led by their defense. I don't even know if it was anything specific, really, Jacob. Just everybody was locked in.
Justin, you have any defensive takeaways?
To your point earlier, Jacob, the fewest points allowed by the Thunder this season was 83.
Wow.
In a November win over Phoenix earlier this season. They actually held teams under 90. I think we all probably remember this. They held 4 teams under 90 in the first month of the season. Orlando, Phoenix, Denver, and the Pelicans all held under 90, but they hadn't done it since then, save a March game against the Trailblazers in which they held them to 89. On the flip side, the Grizzlies' lowest point scored this season was 99 points.
That's insane.
The next lowest was 103 after that. This is a pretty prolific Grizzlies offense. Like, I know they've gone through a little bit of a slide to end the season, but they're still putting up buckets. And I think that's why I chose the word overwhelming, because the Grizzlies looked massivly overwhelmed all day today.
They couldn't find a way to get a shot off.
They couldn't get a shot off. The pick and roll defense was breaking up their kind of preferred action to start the game. Like you said, Taylor, they didn't want them to have any chance at life. And that bled through. Obviously, from there, it just kind of spiraled and got out of control. But to hold them to 80 points when the previous lowest was 99, and that only happened once, they were only held under 100 points one time this season. That's an impressive statement victory for the Thunder today. And it absolutely started on the defensive end. Early in the game, Oklahoma City couldn't really hit shots, right? They came out and they looked a little rusty offensively, but the defense, you could tell right away, was just nails. And once the offense got going and the defense stayed at that level, that's when the, 26-2 run or something like that happened in the second quarter took place. Like, just game over at that point.
JD, when you think of the defense today, like, what one player, I mean, I know it's a team effort, obviously, but is there one guy that you were just like, this guy's just beating their balls like a drum?
It is hard to pick one guy. I keep thinking of Case and Wallace in this game and some of the impact plays he made. To go back to my word, free, I thought their defense allowed them to play free with the way they played. Justin, you mentioned they started out kind of slow and rigid. Their defense allowed them to open up and be themselves on offense completely. SGA obviously had kind of a weird game, but everyone else, the guys you'd want to see performing well, J-Dub, Chet, played their usual games. Aaron Wiggins played his usual games when he was kind of quiet to close the season. Case and Wallace, how many highlight plays, uncharacteristic play of the season type plays did we see tonight from guys like Case and Wallace, J-Dub? Like two of the best dunks of their career we saw in this one
Oh my
game.
gosh, that
The
two-handed
queso
dunk
dunk.
from Kaysen.
Unbelievable.
He just
dude.
turned
I
on the
wasn't-
afterburners.
Obviously, I was in the arena. Nick was in the arena. Apparently, the guy on ABC said nobody in the arena thought Kaysen was going to do that.
Yeah.
Brother, he's got the most posters on the team.
Yeah.
Watch the games.
I was driving, and so I was listening to Matt Pinto, and his call was fantastic. He said something along the lines of like, Kaysen, you don't have to be so mean to him.
Yes,
That
you
was
do.
that was on Triple J and Scottie Pippen Jr.
Insane.
Huge.
Yeah.
His team
I don't
was
think that
insane
the
today.
defense will obviously be this good every game. It wouldn't have made a difference, but there were a lot of shots, I think, that Memphis would say, that's a shot we like, just missed. The Thunder
Yeah.
scored so much tonight, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been a 25 instead of 50-point win. But the Grizzlies did generate some good shots, like the corner threes that normally kill the Thunder, they were missing. I think the offense will be better. I think the defense will still be good, but not this good. All that to say, remember 2 weeks ago in the meltdown chat, what happened to this defense? How did they play 75 games of historic defense and now they can't, or the wheels falling off? And on this show, we told you, Mark's not showing his cards. The guys are just taking it easy. They don't want to show their scheme. Like, first game that mattered, they're back to historic. Point being, don't worry about the dang defense. They're fine.
Nick, what was the stat that you tweeted out? I can't remember it now, but what was their defensive rating for the game? It was something absurd.
75-5.
Oof.
God.
It's insane. I gotta
Sounds
tell you
fake.
guys, tons of awesome plays in this one. JD mentioned the Kaysen dunk. Aaron Wiggins threw that lob, and I thought, brother, what are you doing? And then somehow Dub grabbed
One
that thing
hand.
and put it. He put Aldama 6 feet under the ground.
It
with
was
that dunk.
insane.
That was sick. But
One-handed.
my favorite play of this game, maybe this is why I'm a sicko. I don't know. 3-ish, 4-ish minutes left to go in half. Memphis has the ball. I believe Bain has the ball up near the top of the key. Jaw is running around, cutting back and forth up near the half court line, trying to get the pass so he can like set something up. He's got Kaysen on him. He's 45 feet from the hoop and can't get a pass going away from his own basket because Kaysen is like his shadow, just with him everywhere he goes. And eventually Jaw just goes and throws his hands down and just gives up on running to try to get the ball.
Yep.
Then there's a dead
Nightmare.
ball right after that possession. There's a dead ball. Kaysen Wallace subs out of the game. And here comes Lou Dort. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
Hey, I finally got this guy that's just making my life a living hell off of me. And now the Grim Reaper himself is here to chop my head off. Like,
Hey, we finally completed a pick and roll, and we finally got the switch. Oh, wait. Alex Caruso switched on to me now.
I don't want that
Oh,
switch. Take it
J-Dub
back.
switched on to me now.
yeah,
Shea
like it-
Gillis Alexander switched on to me now, and I'm 7-foot Zach Edey, and I'm getting blocked by him 2 different times. That's
hey,
insane.
somebody in the chat requested the first time we mentioned
little boy?
eight. Thank you. But one more time. What about the little boy?
The explosion really punctuates it.
It does.
Didn't we have a super?
We
about
did.
defense?
I was just about to say, since we're talking about the historic defense, I want to circle back to super chat from Alan. It says, if we don't have 2 or 3 players on all defense, what else can we do to actually get respect on the best defense in NBA recent history? Nick, you alluded to it. The historic qualities of this defense throughout most of the regular season were on full display today against Memphis. Also ironic's probably not the right word, that shortly after the game ended, we got the final 3 for Depoy that included no Thunder players. Who do we think makes all defense from this team?
Dub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think
Agreed.
that's fair. Anyone else sneak on like a? They don't do third team defense, right?
No.
It's
No.
just 2.
If they did, there might be another 2
Yeah.
guys on
The
there.
third team is just 5 Thunder players.
Hartenstein didn't play enough games. Chet didn't play enough games.
Yep.
AC
And
didn't play
Caruso
enough
didn't.
games.
Right.
Queso isn't going to get the love he deserves
No.
in his second year. Shai would be the only other one that could sneak in, but he won't.
No, I agree.
Correct.
I think we
Now-
all would agree that Queso will probably make an all-defense team at some point.
Yes.
I think Queso's the 4th best player on the team, if not this year, next year for sure. I don't know how you don't start Case and Wallace next year. He is so freaking good, dude.
He was.
There were
incredible.
plays today where you watch him off ball. My homie Caleb and I were talking about this after the game. You watch him off ball. It's kind of like that shutdown corner that you just don't throw the ball to that side of the field.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
good
it's-
analogy.
It's hilarious that his only shot attempt was that poster dunk.
Yeah,
That's so Case and Wallace too.
and Caruso very similar too.
Didn't
which
take
I
a
love.
shot.
Caruso didn't take a shot. What was it? 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a plus 30.
And a plus 30.
That
Again,
works.
like there's so much talk, especially from the coaching staff, about like Kaysen getting to learn from Caruso. And I think that's so interesting because the way that they defend is certainly very similar. And what like a great mentor, veteran for Kaysen to have.
And you
So-
look at the two of them, and it's just like it doesn't. It's
Okay.
Hey, so
Doesn't compute.
homie JD Brown in the Discord. Shout out JD. Sat like 5 rows behind the Thunder today, behind the Thunder bench. First time out of the second quarter, the blitz is on. He said AC came over to the bench from being on the court, just looking kind of like pissed off, and screamed at the bench, "I want to beat these mother effers so bad."
That's awesome.
He just like me for real.
That's
What if he had
awesome.
walked over and said, "I want to beat their balls like a drum"?
All right, Nick, go ahead.
Did you guys listen to the podcast that AC and Dub were on?
Yep.
Yes.
And he
man
mentioned, I think
three.
it was AC that said this, that Kaysen still hasn't figured out the art of the film study and like really getting to know who you're defending and their tendencies. He said this is literally all just like
Off
going out
instincts.
there and being a freak.
Yeah.
2 things on that. 1, that tells you how good he's going to be. 2, in the playoffs, you have the time to study because you're playing the same team a lot of times. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kaysen's defensive impact just completely amplify
That's
in the
insane.
postseason.
That's
Agreed.
insane.
And
All right.
next season.
We've talked a lot of defense. I think from now we just kind of riff, talk about whatever we want. But we had started steering this way. I want to go back to it. I guess 2 questions: should and will Zach Edey play another minute in this series?
He
He'll
will.
He'll play again.
Yes and yes.
You think he should?
Yes.
I think I know where you're going with this, Nick.
Dude's a liability.
I just think if
They
the
aren't going to win
Grizzlies,
this series.
Grizzlies, well, no, not even that. If the Grizzlies attempt to go small, they're going to get cooked even worse.
Yep.
The teams that try to go small in the Thunder get cooked. They know they're going to lose. It's reps for Zach Edey, I think is what Taylor's getting at. But like,
Correct.
you have to do something to give you an edge of like, it just will not work. It's not going to work either way.
I agree.
But if
It's
you're going
playing
to try
into the
something, it's got to be
Thunder's
big.
hand.
Yeah.
It's playing into
100%.
the Thunder's hand if you do that.
And that maybe is like one of the biggest things from this game is that we learned, or that we kind of already knew, but that was just amplified, is this Grizzlies team just doesn't have the personnel, especially when injured like they are, and even before then, to really compete with this team and the depth that was displayed today from the Thunder.
That's what I was thinking about all game, Taylor. The playoffs really are a completely different sport almost, where if you have a weakness, and the 3 stars on the Grizzlies have major weaknesses, I think. Ja can't shoot. He can't generate easy shots for himself anymore, I don't think. At least not against this defense. Bain struggles with bigger defenders, and they had J-Dub on his ass the entire game. Jaren Jackson cannot use his size to his advantage inside. What was his stat line?
2 of 13 from
Shout out
Triple J.
Triple J.
Do you know Jaren
Hey.
Jackson's career field goal percentage in the playoffs?
I do because you told me pre-pod.
Oh,
So
I'm
not
going.
gonna
I'm
answer.
going 36.
is
Nobody else apparently is guessing.
It's 38.9%.
Oh, I was close.
That's
It's
insane for a big.
Bad.
It's
For
just
a big,
Hey,
that's
there was
nasty.
the lineup at one point today where Memphis ran out Triple J, Santi Aldama, and Marvin Bagley, who was maybe the
3,
best
4.
big.
The Bagley impact was
Good.
insane today.
Hey, he was the best.
Oh, he
the
was.
best 3 players
year
from that
Bagley.
draft.
And he pulled up from half court and swished it. That was probably the
Bagley was-
highlight of the day for the
But
Grizzlies.
they went those 3 bigs, and the Thunder went with J. Will, and that's it. They threw Alex Caruso on Jaren Jackson Jr., and that man did nothing.
Yeah.
Like he's a very flawed offensive basketball player.
Jacob, one of the favorite tweets that I saw come across the timeline during the game, and this was in the first half when the Thunder were going on that insane run that we alluded to. But somebody mentioned, and I can't remember who, how the Thunder start out with like Isaiah Hartenstein or Chet on Triple J, and he's having to battle down low. It's super physical. They're having a lot of success. All of a sudden, the rug is pulled from underneath him, and Alex Caruso is on him. Whole different level of hell. And he just like how that keeps those kind of players like you can't really get a footing in a game. We were defended so differently, and that was one thing that just really stood out to me and just shows the versatility really of this defense and this team as a whole.
I want those of you in the chat who keep dropping the rhymes and then Thunder and 4. You got to pay if you want them up on the screen. Drop a super. But Donnie, I'll give you a break.
Jacob.
Chet
Jacob
blocks,
is
Case
such-
and stalks. Josh shoots himself with his Glock. Thunder and 4.
Jacob has gone crazed with power.
He has.
That's right.
Now that super chats are back.
Hey, we got a lot of lost time to make up for, buddy.
Like if you're the Grizzlies, you obviously don't want to overreact to this game, right? Like it was bad, but if you ran everything back, I don't think game 2 looks like this. Like that would be an insane anomaly. But I feel like Marvin Bagley and Luke Kennard have to get more in the rotation, which is an insane statement. That's why I say you don't over rotate. Like I'm not saying start Bagley and Kennard, but that they were the only ones that found any sense of success. Kennard used to be a kind of important rotation piece for them and fell out late in the season. But
Just what
if
you're
they-
saying here, this guy used to kind of be I'm
I'm not saying
I know.
it fixes it.
Also, every time you say Luke Kennard, in my brain, I say Luke Menard.
Luke, our favorite hardware and outdoor store. You've got to try something. And I think they found some success with Bagley today. I don't know if Kennard gets minutes, but
It's a player who can knock down shots when he's open.
Exactly.
Thunder will strategically leave him open. Most
They
likely.
shot
but both of those
17%
guys
from
cannot
deep.
create a shot.
Nor can
The
they
problem is they have nobody who can create a shot. The guys that can are literally just in hell.
Right.
Yeah. And I think if I were to predict what the biggest difference between today and Tuesday will be, it will be a more effective Ja Morant.
You think so?
He was hobbling. I don't know if you could see it in the arena. There was a few plays where he's out of bounds and he's walking pretty gingerly. I think his ankle was catching up to him, which again, like we
That's
talked about
fair,
on
but
Friday.
Ja hasn't done anything against this team in years.
Not saying he'll be great, but I think that will be, he's not going to be as bad on
That's fair.
Tuesday as he
That's
was
fair.
today. And
So
I think that will facilitate some things for this offense that'll pull him out of the mud a little bit.
Let me ask you guys this. How much do the Thunder win by Tuesday? I don't think any of us are predicting a loss, right? None of you guys are that crazy.
No.
I think
How much do they win by Tuesday?
I was thinking 15 in my head and kind of have a prediction for how this goes down. I mentioned it in the Discord. My assumption is just like J-Dub and Mark alluded to, like Justin just kind of talked about, this is going to leave a pretty bad taste in Memphis in the Grizzlies' mouth, obviously. I kind of assume they come out with the first punch And I could see it being very similar to the script we've seen with the Thunder throughout quite a bit of the regular season, where they get punched in the mouth early. They're down by like 10 to 12 into the first quarter. Come halftime, they're back up single digits. Third quarter, blow the doors open. And next thing we know, they end up winning the game by 15. The second half's not really much of a game. That's my prediction.
This
JD,
is kind of
what do you think?
This is
They
kind
won
of
by-
the ultimate gut check for the Grizzlies. Like, you have to come out and play better. You have to. If you're not going to do it now, then when are you ever going to do it? If you're not going to do it after a literally historical loss in the playoffs, when else are you going to show that you are better than that? You know, you could do it at home, but you're going to be down 0-2 at that point. Like, you have to show something else here. And yeah, like the playoffs are different. There's the old Draymond Green thing of like there are 82 game players and there are 16 game players. It feels like the Grizzlies have a lot of 82 game players right now.
So how much did they win by, JD?
Oh, 17.
Justin, how much did they win by?
I'm going to put it at 12.
I'm going
12,
like 22.
15, 17, and 22. I like
I'm
it.
going 22.
Well, okay,
Taylor, I get what you're saying. I just don't think that happens. I just think they come out and they beat their ass from the word go.
I hope so.
It's
I
what
really
they
do.
Tonight they got down 4-0 and we didn't. The thing we haven't talked about is we got a horrible Shai game.
Right. That's what I want to get into next is the offense.
We
We
got
talked
a
so much
horrible
about
Shai
defense.
game and they put up 131.
One of the
So-
worst Shai offensive performances, scoring wise.
Let's talk
the
about
season.
Shai. But my word,
before we get to Shai, let's do, because we're 37 minutes in, let's do the King of the Prairie.
That was a quick 37 minutes.
I know.
it was. We're excited.
Time flies when
Lots
you're
to talk
beating
about.
balls.
Like a
Get that on
drum.
the shirt. Get that on a shirt.
I'm
Can,
seeing how many times we can reference that tonight.
Yeah. You also, I tweeted this, but you, can you whoop a trick that's already dead?
A trick that's already tricked.
That's a good philosophical question.
Good.
Let's do
I'll
King
ask,
of the Prairie.
I'll ask Socrates in the afterlife.
I thought you were going to say Chat GPT.
I'll ask Chat. I'm going to ask Chat GPT right now while you go over King of the Prairie.
Shout out Prairie. We watched the Clippers Nuggets game from the Prairie OKC tap room on Saturday. It was delightful. Had one of their new beers that just came out, Lemon Slice. Tasted kind of like a lemon meringue pie, which is one of my favorite desserts. It was absolutely delightful. Also, the new German Pilsner. I think, JD, you brought that up earlier. I got a 4-pack of that in my fridge right now. It's good stuff. So if you want to enjoy a nice Prairie beer, come out on Saturday to the watch party. But King of the Prairie, I have a guy in mind. Does anyone else have a guy in mind?
I think we probably all got the same guy, so we might have to go with Prince of the Prairie as well. But who is your guy?
Mr. Dub.
Hey,
Mr.
you other
Dubbenstein.
two got to bark.
Y'all doing?
Why did that sound like it's a cartoon
I had to switch
dog.
it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like a Scrappy Doo or
Yes.
Scrappy-Doo. You guys ever watch Wishbone?
Doo.
Wishbone. Wishbone was elite.
What did not watch
Neither of you.
Wishbone.
All right.
Wishbone
Us
TV
children.
series. Googling this right now. What the hell? No, I haven't seen that before.
What's the story of Wishbone?
That dog's got a tie on.
Yeah, it does. Drip.
It's a fancy
That's what we
dog.
call
Also,
that.
David Skelton calling out your Socrates comment that Socrates will only answer with a question of his own.
It's a fair
Thank
point.
Yep. Thank you for the money, Skelton. Keep it coming. J-Dub tonight, 20 points on 10 of 16. 0 of 4 from 3. No free throws. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block. A game high plus 44, dudes.
He was incredible.
Pretty good.
I'm curious your guys' thoughts. I don't even think the box score really does it justice the game that J-Dub had. And one thing we talked about Friday night on the podcast when we were looking ahead at this series and the playoffs as a whole is when Shai's sitting or when Shai doesn't have it, whatever it may be, like we talked about with the Mavs series last season, J-Dub's going to have to step up. But what I love so much about him tonight is the way that he balanced everything. You know, I think post game he mentioned the thing about Shai is he could have had 30 plus and gotten to his shots whenever he wanted to, but he trusted his teammates. I think the flip side of that is true that J-Dub could have done the same. But the way he was able to balance scoring, driving to the rim, especially in transition, getting to his pull-ups, with just facilitating that second unit so perfectly, Not to mention the incredible defense he played. I mean, he was a huge catalyst for that alongside Caruso and Kaysen. I thought J-Dub had a fantastic two-way game.
He was insane today. Everything you could want. I forget which one of you said Dub was the X factor in this series. That was that you, Jacob? Yeah. Today is exactly why, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw some not stellar performances in the playoff from Dub last year. He did not embody any of that today. The only knock that you could have on his game is the 0-4 from behind the arc, which I was really surprised when you were going through his stats of the Memphis series on the entirety of the season. He's shooting 16%, if I'm remembering correctly.
And it got worse.
And he went 0-4 today. Not great, but if you are doing what he did everywhere else, you can live with that. You can go 0-4 from deep if you're doing that.
There's block and steal stats, but that doesn't do justice what he did on the defensive end.
No,
like,
Agreed.
No.
strap a bomb to that guy's chest because he was a terrorist tonight.
Wow.
Now watch this drive.
Well done.
Needed the explosion at the end.
Unbelievable.
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
I wish there were
Prairie?
deflections on the stat sheet because that would be insane to see.
Who's the JD? Who's the Prince of the Prairie?
Probably a guy we haven't mentioned a single time. Aaron Wiggins.
Oh, that's not who I was going to go. But
I have like
let's,
3.
Let's list Wiggins.
Leading scorer.
Leading scorer, Aaron
which
Wiggins,
is crazy.
Didn't play in the first quarter.
Yeah,
it was the
that's
leading
nuts.
scorer.
21 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 4-7 from 3, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, a plus 21. Aaron Wiggins is JD's Prince of the Prairie. Justin, who are you going for your Prince of the Prairie?
Yeah, I'm with y'all. Like there's a lot of choices to choose from. I'm going Chet as my Prince of the Prairie.
I love it. 19 points, 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. 6 of 6 from the free throw line, which is awesome.
Huge.
10 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, and a plus 25.
Yeah, we talked on Friday about Chet's ability to get to the line, especially against Jaren Jackson Jr., who likes to foul a lot. His shooting from behind the arc was also huge. Great game from Chet.
It was awesome. Taylor, who's your Prince of the Prairie?
I was going to go with Chet as well. Just one other thing, too, is we talked Friday about Chet having better games since coming back from his injury, or his couple of setbacks with other injuries mixed in through the last part of the regular season, but he hadn't really put together that great two-way game, that all-around game. He either had a three-point shot going but wasn't rebounding well, was kind of getting beat on the boards, or defended really well but didn't have a great beat like a drum.
Beat on the boards like a drum.
Like a drum. Or, he had a great defensive game, but the offense kind of struggled. This was the best all-around Chet game we've seen since the beginning of the season pre-hip injury. And I thought
he was awesome. I think my correct answer, again, there's so many guys you can put, is probably Hartenstein, 14, 8, 5,
that
and
was
a
the
steal.
other one. Yep.
But
Chet and Hart can be a combo pack of
I like that.
princes for me.
yes, but you guys know I'm committed to the bit. Did you guys see these fans who dressed up like Alex Caruso but put like a plastic bag over their head? Cowards.
That's amazing.
Cowards. If you're committing to the bit, buddy, commit to the bit.
Jacob, the people yearn for the upside down headband on the stream.
They do.
It needs to happen.
Someone bring me one to game 2. I'll wear it.
I'm proud to announce that Jacob and Caruso have a triplet. I saw him at Thunder HQ on Saturday after Prairie. Literally had 3 different people reach out to me when I posted just like about Thunder HQ. They were like, I thought the dude DJing was like Jacob. You guys were like, we're doing something at Thunder HQ.
No,
awesome.
It wasn't me. So Alex Caruso was the Prince of my heart and also my Prince of the Prairie. 12 minutes, 0-0 from the field for 0 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, plus 30.
Plus 30.
In 12 minutes, a plus 30.
That's insane.
He pulled the
Didn't play a minute in the second half.
I didn't realize that.
Didn't play a minute in the second half.
Didn't need
Just
to.
stood over there like a proud dad.
And you know how
he looked like
awesome.
Justin coaching that Y League.
If we
That's
can
right.
get away with that, this first round series, and then you have a limited minutes arrested Caruso heading into round 2 and round 3.
Yeah,
He's
that's
playing like
Dude,
the
he's going to go
Clippers
in there against
Whew.
James Harden and just
I
beat
can't
his
wait.
balls like a drum.
Can that be the title of this episode?
No.
please?
It 100% is.
no.
Jacob, D&D reference for you. If in terms of 0-point games, I think in the chaotic evil section you have what Kyle Kuzma did yesterday, and in the lawful good section you have what Alex Caruso did today.
Absolutely.
I kind of understand that.
There you go.
like it.
Absolutely.
We have a super chat from Connor that just says money.
Shout out Connor
And
B.
every
What's
time
the
I look
B
at the
stand
comment,
for?
Billions?
bucks.
Big dog.
All right, I like it.
All I can do when I read this comment is read it in Jenny Slate's voice from Parks and Rec.
Me too.
Money, please.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's what you sound like asking for super chats. Actually, you're
Money,
our podcast
please.
John Ralphio.
I feel that's very offensive. We've talked a lot about this game. I mean, I don't know where else to go. Let's one more trip around the table before we get to some Prairie Trivia. Each of you guys get to say your favorite thing about game one. Favorite thing about game one. JD, go.
SGA blocking Zach Edey twice.
Zach Edey's a joke. Justin.
I have to go with the one-handed dub oop. That was pretty fantastic.
Sick. Taylor.
Shout out AJ Mitchell, who looks pretty pretty good coming back from injury. But I think my biggest thing that I was most excited about was just seeing that the Thunder truly did just kind of coast through the last part of the regular season and are just able to turn it back on when it's playoff time.
Smoot says Connor B, and the B is for balls beaten like bongos. My favorite
Specific
moment.
drum.
What have I
Again,
done?
I'm a degenerate here. Jay Will got in for 3 minutes, and in that first 3 minutes tried to fist fight Zach Edey.
Yes. That's a great one.
Never been more proud.
Great one. And he looked really good in that stint.
He would have given him the smoke too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jay Will was fired up. Kenny was ready to fight somebody this game. I mean, you can't fight a dead body. It can't fight back.
Wow.
But man,
If
they're
you could,
ready.
If you could time travel back to December, and I told you AJ Mitchell plays 14 minutes in game one of the playoffs, probably wouldn't imagine the scenario
Yeah.
of today.
Hey, we should have got 20 Alex Dukas minutes tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not wrong either.
Some victory flagler.
Hey,
You guys
two-way guys can't play.
Let's take our first break. On the other side, we will do some Prairie Trivia before we look forward to the rest of the week. We will be right back. While we're back, drop a super chat. We are back. No super chats have been dropped yet.
You're out of pocket.
Get on it. All right. A bunch of people sent me trivia questions. I have not vetted any of them. If you don't like them or they are incorrect, then join the Discord and you can complain to these people directly.
File an official complaint with HR.
There you go.
Can you imagine if we had HR?
We should get an HR Discord bot.
We'd all be fired if we had HR. HR would beat our
Everyone
balls like a
exists.
drum.
No.
All right, Smoot has 3 trivia questions for you guys. We're going to get to the point where the whole podcast is just trivia
Just
because
trivia.
of how many trivia questions get sent in.
I love it.
Smoot's
That
got
could
3
be a good
trivia
Patreon
questions.
episode.
I
That
was just
would be.
thinking
Trivia
that.
show.
That would
Exactly
be
what I was
great. Question 1. There's someone in the chat saying Taylor still does not have a whiteboard. Taylor gets his whiteboard at the championship parade.
That's right. And I will hold it up proud.
Question 1. Since moving to OKC, the Thunder have appeared in 11 first-round playoff series. That's wild. And how many of these series did the Thunder win game 1? They've played in 11 first-round series. And how many of those 11 did they win game 1? Your answer should not be higher than 11.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
People in the chat asking where Nick went. He's got bad internet.
Nick's internet had the same type of performance as Jaren Jackson Jr.
I'm
All
ready.
right,
see 'em,
I got an
boys.
answer.
Taylor's going 7. Justin's going 9. JD is going 7. I shouldn't read your answers. You should read your own answers. The answer is 7.
Boom.
I went high. I heard a stat listening to Pinto on the radio that said the Thunder have never lost game 1 of a playoff series at home.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
That's awesome. Well, that kind of ties into question number 2.
Oh, spoiler.
What is the Thunder's record in first-round playoff series when they win game 1? How many series have they won game 1?
7.
7. I like how Justin knew that. The 2 idiots that got it right did not. So out of those 7
thinking
series, gentlemen, how many times did the Thunder win the series? Smoot intentionally put the answer should add up to 7. So this is not me criticizing your math. This is Smoot criticizing your math.
Smoot knows this too well.
He does.
Add up to 9.
George in the
I was
chat.
told there'd be no math.
George in the chat says Nick's internet needs a blue chew.
Okay, Taylor, what is this? What is
Well-
your answer?
He just didn't erase his first answer.
Oh yeah. I'm just going down the list. I'm using my
Okay.
dad's giant notepad here, and I might as well
Yeah, we
use the white
noticed.
space.
So Taylor's going
6.
what's your
6
and
of the
1.
7.
Yeah, he forgot half the answer. Anyway, I said
Wait,
5
he
and
wants the
2.
record?
JD?
5 and 2.
The answer 6 and 1.
Boom.
Too bad you didn't write half the answer. Wish I
Fuck,
could
Wiz.
give it to
Scoot
you.
sent all these to me first.
Question 3. Name the team and the year where the Thunder lost that first round
Oh,
playoff series
jeez.
after
Gosh.
winning game 1. So they were 6 and 1 in those 7. The 1 was against who and what year?
I think I have this. Actually, I feel very confident about this, which means I'm probably wrong.
It was the first round playoff series where the Thunder won game 1 but lost the series.
Okay, I have an answer.
I have an
All
answer.
right. Show them and read them.
I said
Uh-oh.
Utah 2018.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think I was wrong about which round this was in. I was thinking of the Blazers, the Paul George Blazers, Dame waving goodbye. Was that round 2?
That was round 1.
Was it not 2017?
And then TP, what's your answer?
Warriors 2016, KD's last year. Game 6 Clay, etc.
That was not a first round
That
series,
was not a
buddy.
first round series, buddy.
Oh, dang it. I was just thinking series in general. Oh,
The answer,
well, that's a loss.
the Utah Jazz in 2018.
Woo!
Oh,
Remember when
well
Taylor
done.
said, I feel pretty confident about this one?
I think they won that first game. That's the first series that came to mind. And obviously, it was the series. Well, duh, because they were up 3-1.
Right.
All right, next trivia question comes from Thunder Chick. Of the 8 Western Conference teams that made the playoffs last season, how many did not make it this season? So you're looking at 8 Western Conference playoff teams from last year to this year. How many of last year's teams did not make it this year? Bonus points if you can name them. George is wild and in the chat right now. It's cream cheese in the chat from George.
That's all that plays in my head when you say George. This should be an easy question, but I'm having a hard time.
8 teams were in the playoffs last year.
Thank you.
Which of those 8 are not in the playoffs this year?
Trying to remember, but
Just Western Conference.
I think I got it.
I think I got it also.
All right, JD, what you got?
I've got The Suns and the Mavericks. I had the Kings, but as you can see, I crossed it out because I don't think that's right.
Well, Silva, I went Mavs and Kings as
Oh,
well.
the Pelicans.
Justin went
Pelicans.
Pels,
Well
Mavs,
done. Dang it.
Suns. The answer, Pels, Mavs, Suns.
Unfortunately,
Justin
I
finished
cared
strong.
about the Pelicans a
The
lot.
Pels should have been. That was the first
That was
one.
the
I
That should
got.
have been the
Yes.
easy one because that's the one
That's what we
Thunder won.
played.
Yeah.
Travis cracks me up. All right. Travis in the Discord has a trivia question. He says, trivia question. Me and my band are trying to come up with a band name. I'd like one suggestion from everyone. Travis, that is not a trivia question. That's just a suggestion. Each of you need to come up with one band name. Go.
I like this.
Okay.
I won't write this down. We can just.
Taylor, do you have one?
Thunder Buddies.
Boo.
Get out of here.
I'd
to
never
write it
be in a
down?
band.
That's supposed to write it down.
Yes,
Sure. What do you got?
Got the Bing Bong Deviants.
I thought this was gonna involve beating something.
The ball beaters.
What did he? Do we know what kind of
No-
band Travis
we don't.
has?
We
That's a
don't.
good point.
That feels like an important piece of this puzzle.
Bing Bong Deviants could be jazz. It could be punk
Heavy
rock.
metal.
It covers a wide.
Chat
wide array
chat
of
has
genres.
George says fishing for MILFs. Blueface
Interesting.
Baby says Thunder from Down Under. Connor says the over contested.
Ah, the slightly contested.
Smoot says drum beating balls.
Oh, Trav says indie rock.
You're supposed to have the chat
Indie
closed.
rock.
We're in trivia. You
Oh, well, I haven't
Yeah,
been.
yeah,
really-
That's
that's
cheating.
I
No,
don't-
this
I don't
makes a
trust these
lot
guys.
of sense, Taylor. If we're going indie rock, I could see something like slightly ironic, like
Erotic.
Slightly erotic's
I'll be
pretty
sad.
good.
ironic.
that's a good band name. Slightly erotic.
Not for indie rock.
You got to
I think
be.
Silva's got the hit.
I think
single,
just
something
using, like,
about
a random-
Marla Gayoli.
A random NBA player's name as your band name is a good move, like how Pearl Jam's original name was Mookie Blaylock. I think
Didn't know
Lugensdorf
that.
would be a great band name.
That's good.
awesome.
I like it. I like it.
I'd buy the merch. I'd design the merch. Hit me up.
There you go.
Yeah, you would. All right. Let's do a quick couple of minutes reacting to.
Is that
some
it?
of- that was all the
No
trivia.
more trivia?
That was all the trivia. Good job.
Okay. fair
What a
enough.
lack of fanfare by our host.
Nick is now out of the podcast, but in the stream, saying his band name is Big Ol' Rack.
The Bucks themed band.
Be a bluegrass band.
You want the Kawhi?
Yeah, let's do it. It's been a while.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
I just noticed Frozen Jacob Niffen isn't in the chat tonight.
Wow. How's that make you feel?
Well, wasn't that Caleb E? And Caleb E's here.
Was it Caleb? E?
He rebranded.
Rebranded.
Oh, did he?
He should be disconnected Nick Crane.
Ah, there we go.
That's funny.
JD, biggest surprise from across the league in game one.
The Lakers taking a big old L at home by the Timberwolves.
Got
Delicious.
smacked.
Big ol' L.
Well, 117-95. Suck it.
Nasty.
Does this? We have the predictions, but what was your prediction on that series, JD?
I could be totally wrong here. I think I said Lakers in 6.
I think Thunder Chick had a cool graphic for that, but I don't know
Yeah,
where
she
it's at
did.
right now.
She
Anybody have that?
Yeah, I've got it. She did an excellent job capturing our predictions,
You Thunder Chick.
as always.
I like that. Basically, just the fans run the show for us. Eventually,
Yeah.
we're not even going to be on this podcast.
A crowdsourced show. We all said LA in 6, except for Jacob, who said Minnesota in 7.
Ooh.
Well done.
Does it change? Does game 1 change your opinion, JD?
No, because it took like a insane outlier performance from Jaden McDaniels. I mean, there was some other things that could go.
DiVincenzo.
And
The
DiVincenzo.
three-point shooting was crazy.
Justin, your most surprising thing from game 1 across the league?
Mine is happening right now. The Rockets, I've not watched it because we've been podcasting, but the Rockets look like garbage based off the box score. They had 34 points at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
That's very disrespectful to my Rockets in 5 shock and awe
know.
prediction I made on Friday.
I know.
I was trying to.
Şengün has 21 of their 52.
I was trying to outsmart everyone, and look what it got me. Not great.
I feel the same way.
What was your prediction for the Rockets Golden State Warriors series, Justin?
I said Rockets in 5, and
okay.
I feel real bad about that now.
Sorry. I was trying to read the score and get that stuff.
Still
Taylor,
possible, but feel bad.
I think I had Rockets 6.
Taylor, what is your most surprising takeaway from game 1, round 1?
I think Silva nailed it. That's definitely probably the biggest surprise from round 1 so far, but or from the slate of game 1s. Mine would have to be that the Clippers came out, were so dominant there in that first half, and it looked like they were just going to completely destroy the Nuggets. And then as we were watching live together, the 4 of us at Prairie, the Nuggets come back and win. Live and die by the Brody, baby. Why not? That was a big surprise for me, and I think we're in for an incredible series there.
It was a great game.
Nice. I would probably have to go. I don't know. The Pacers just smacking the dog crap out of the
That's a
Bucks
great
was
one.
kind of surprising.
Pacers are good.
The Bucks looked really bad.
I think that's maybe the more correct answer there is the Bucks just look really bad.
Yeah. Bad
Bucks.
Also, Smoot just gave us a super chat with instructions,
Which
because
I did do. I went and did that.
I saw that.
Post the super and then do the instructions.
Smoot says, I pay you work. Scroll to my first chat. So we did. We scrolled to his first chat.
What's the first chat?
Which reads, I think this was before we even went live. It's poetic this game was on 420 because we smoking on that Grizzlies pack.
Thank you.
That's great. Well done, Smoot.
You ever read those Goosebumps books where it's like, you
Turn
take the
to
left path, go to page 45.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Choose your own adventure.
That's
The
what
best.
Smoot's doing in the chat right now.
I love this.
Thank you, Smoot. Looking forward to the rest of this week. Thunder have the Grizz Tuesday at 6:30, Thursday in Memphis at 8:30, Saturday in Memphis at 2:30. So that means at about 5 on Saturday, Bill Street will be burning to the ground. Predictions for the next 3. We kind of already gave our score prediction for game 2. Anything else you guys feeling for game 2 specifically? And then how are you feeling about the rest of the week for the Thunder?
Sofa's
Speechless.
bobbling. I thought he was going to talk, but he's not.
Yep.
Yeah, I pump faked everybody there. No, I'm not feeling. I mean, I feel like the Thunder. I picked Thunder in 5, so I feel like I need to respect my own prediction in some way. So I think Memphis will win game. I don't want to say they're going to win at the watch party. They'll win on Thursday, so I can respect my own prediction.
Get that high returning home.
Yep.
The FedEx Forum crowd. I could see that.
Yep.
I think I'm in the opposite camp. I said Thunder in 5, and I think I'm in the Thunder in 4 camp. You don't win a game by 51 and then come out and blow it. I think that you could have a close game, but I don't think you're going to have a loss in this series for the Thunder.
Taylor?
That's kind of what I was thinking, Silva. I don't see the Grizzlies being down 3-0 and like clawing back and winning game 4, especially the team we watched out there tonight. I think they're going to throw in the towel and just be ready to get the heck out of there and to Cancun. So I'm with Silva. I'm just going to retweet it. I think game 3, the Thunder could potentially drop, but it's not the end of the world. They probably just dominate game 4, game 5, and we still get quite a bit of rest, assuming this Clippers and Nuggets series goes 6 or 7 games.
Thunder are sweeping. Every game's a double-digit win.
I think today's game should count as 2 wins.
I think
Thunder and
I
3.
don't think you should have to play the rest of the series when you beat somebody's balls like a drum that hard. They were like a metal drummer with those balls today. Double bass blast beats. Just smacking those things. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Uncontested. Hey, 1 win down, 15 to go until a title. It's hard to feel much better than a 50-point smacking of the Memphis Grizzlies. Guess what? We are back here again Tuesday night. Unlike today where the game ended, then you guys had to wait like 6 hours. Tuesday, game is over. We're on the show. So as soon as you are done watching Tuesday, tune into the YouTube, hang out with us. It's going to be a freaking blast. We're expecting another Thunder win. So it's going to be fun. Hey, if you haven't already, follow us on social media, wherever you're on social media at. Download the pod wherever you listen to podcasts and watch it on YouTube where you can leave a super chat. We also have a Patreon. You should sign up for that. I don't know why you guys are giggling. I don't know what I'm missing out on right now.
It's Silva.
It's always Silva. You guys have a great start to your week. Rep that Thunder gear at work tomorrow. I don't care what your boss says. I will write you a pass. Just hit me up. Silva is cracking up right now, and I feel like it's about me. So we're ending the show. Until Tuesday, and as always, Thunder up.